a group that is working very hard in the state of Ohio for equal fairness and equity for all Ohioans, Elena Jochum from Equality Ohio.
Thank you, Representative. Good afternoon. My name is Elena Jochum. I'm the Managing Director of Equality Ohio. Equality Ohio works across the state directly with people who have experienced discrimination just because they are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. I can tell you discrimination has a real impact on Ohio, and that's why I'm happy to be sharing this time with Representative Antonio, who is trying to stop discrimination against LGBTQ Ohioans. Although I could personally recount the stories of discrimination from the many who contact our organization daily from around the state, I think it is better to hear stories from the individuals themselves. Here today are people who identify as gay, lesbian, transgender, straight allies, people of faith, people from big business, people from small business. We all share a common request. Ohio needs non-discrimination protections for the LGBT community. Let's hear why from the Ohioans themselves, beginning with Josh Culbertson.
Thank you. My name is Josh Culbertson, and I would like to share with you why I believe it's important that our state's non-discrimination protections include all Ohioans. I grew up and spent most of my life in Zanesville, in rural Muskegon County in southeast Ohio. I struggled to accept myself as a gay man. In fact, I tried all that I could to not be who I am. About 6 years ago, I finally reached a point that I realized that I simply am who I am. And I began the journey to find peace with that in my faith and in how I live my life with authenticity and integrity. As I was becoming more comfortable with who I was, others were becoming less comfortable with it. I had stopped attending the church where I had been active for the past 13 years. And when I left, some of the members who were closest to me were curious. And when they asked, I was honest in my response to them. I felt it was time to be completely transparent. The owners of the small business where I worked attended the same church, and it didn't take long for them to discover the reason why I left the church. They assured me that I would not be fired for what they viewed as my lifestyle choice. But I was regularly called into the owner's office where he would share with me about his understandings of love, of marriage, and family, and how no relationship that I ever shared with another man and the life we might build together would meet those understandings. At that time, I knew enough to know that I didn't have any legal protections. And despite his assurances to the contrary, I knew that he could, within the legal limits of Ohio law, terminate my employment. I knew that he could even say it was because I was gay, and I wouldn't have a legal leg to stand on. Knowing that, after each of these conversations, I would politely smile, thank him for his time, return to work, and commit even harder to finding a job in Columbus, the closest city with job and housing protections for people like me. While, as a person of faith, I wholeheartedly embrace our right to believe differently and to have our interactions in the world be informed by our faith, I do not believe that it is acceptable to use our beliefs as the basis for denying the rights and opportunities of others. No one who goes to work every day and puts in an honest day's work should have to worry and go through that day with anxiety and fear. It's just not fair. And it impacts the quality of the work they are able to perform because they're not able to be fully present, bringing all of their mental focus to the work at hand. That same worker shouldn't also be worried that they will come home to find an eviction notice because their landlord saw a wedding photo of them and their same-sex partner on Facebook. And that couple should not have to fear being denied a table at a restaurant, a cab ride, or having a daycare refuse to care for their children because one member of the couple, or because the couple was gay, or because one of them was transgender. Many victims of discrimination, like I was, are too afraid to speak up for fear of being fired, evicted, thrown out of a restaurant, or being faced with not being able to provide care for their children in all the ways they need to be. The reason I'm here today is to ask for fair and equal protections for all Ohioans. This legislation would be a win for fairness. All Ohioans deserve to be able to work, live, and enjoy their lives here in whatever part of the state they live in without fear of being judged on the basis of who they are or who they love. Thank you for your time, and thank you to Representative Antonio for your leadership.